This is a great experience, and there's a lot of people out here that are doing this. And for me, being the first time, this was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So I'm glad I'm here.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, there are people like yourselves, Brando, which make the time, and somehow God sees a way for them to be able to do this, which I'm glad for. I'm glad for people like you. So anyway, that's this is a great experience, and like I said, I'm so happy that I could do this.
You enjoying the bridge? You think it's a good thing that you're here today? Would you tell other kids to come to the bridge?
Yes.
And it's a great way to start your year. Awesome. Thank you.
It just really brought it home, the reason why we're here, and really how fortunate, we are to have God's blessing in our life. And, I'm so thankful that, we can be a part of maybe making a difference here, even being here and adding an extra smile. I mean, that might lead to, someone really having a better day and, making a better decision for themselves. So, again, it just makes me more aware of looking out for your fellow man, and letting them know that, there are people who care, that we're not just faces and not just numbers, but we're people with hearts who care about each other, and we're ready to share God's love. So, again, definitely a blessing to be here.
What do you want to say?
This is really fun. This is really fun.
This is really fun.
Really fun. Awesome.
Reach out through Brando's website. We are all here. We're here now. We're here on an ongoing basis. We're praying for you. And we want you to know that there's something special for you that's worth sticking around for.
So here we are, and we're forming a barrier of love to say live, to say stay alive, to say stay among the living, be with us. And we're united, and we're standing united for you to live and for you to have hope. And look at the faces, and look at the smiles, and look at all the joy, and look at the little ones, and look at the hope, and look at the future. And look at all of these things and live. Look at all of these faces and live. Look at all of God's blessings and all of your brothers and sisters and live.
My name is Eve Libertone.
And so Eve, what happened when I walked up to you?
Well, I was a little surprised, but I felt like somebody cared. I felt like somebody was paying attention to me, and I was just looking at the beautiful water, but it was just a lovely experience to have this warm, gentle person come up and say hello and just ask how I was doing. It was really, really sweet.
And then when we talked a little bit more, you were quite surprised, right?
I was very surprised, and I was very excited because I saw the movie The Bridge in February of 2009, and it really affected me very deeply. Many times I've thought about jumping from the bridge, and it totally transformed my whole sort of perspective about that. I learned a great deal about suicide and about the people who have jumped, and I just had a really transformational experience seeing that movie, and I got very interested in potentially being some kind of guardian or presence on the bridge to reach out to people.
And so to meet up with us, to have the thought in your mind of doing this, and then to meet up with people who are doing it,
yes,
is an answered prayer, would you say?
Yes, it is. I definitely, I feel a sense of kinship, and I feel really excited that there's already people doing this, because I didn't really want to do it by myself. I wanted to find sort of like a core group of people who all had the same vision and the same commitment, and so I feel like this would be a great way to start doing some service work and some spiritual work in 2010.
what would you say to someone who's having that struggle? What would you say to them right now? Because this is going to go on the web. We put this out there for those people. What do you want to tell them right now?
I would say that they might consider the possibility that there's something that their soul is longing for, and that maybe jumping off of this bridge isn't actually what it is that they're longing for, and that what they're longing for could potentially be something that they could have a breakthrough or a transformation or an opening, or even in any moment there's different choices that can be made, and that, you know, life is very precious. And I think for me the most important thing is realizing that that we are all interconnected with everyone in the world, and to realize the responsibility and the gift of that you know, that it's just to take your own life is really the hardest part, is how it affects everyone who loves you, you know. And I think that that's probably the most important thing, because I believe people have that right, but I also believe that that's not really what most people want to do. There's a lot of pain and a lot of challenge in their life, and if they had the support that they needed, or they had other options, if they were aware of other options for transformation, I think that they might choose something else and be grateful for making that choice, you know?
So you said you had some struggle yourself?
Yeah, definitely.
So tell me, that the film, but not only that, but was it time? Was it giving it another day? Was it...
I think there's a lot of things. I think a lot of times it's time, but I also realize that I think there's some important understanding about how the human psyche works, and that all of us have the potential for dark, self-destructive energy to take over, and to realize that's not who we are, you know, that all of us are God and all of us are light, and that's a part of us that we need to learn to work with. And there's a lot of I mean, the Bay Area, and there's so many options in the world for, you know, there's so many resources out there for people, and that it's so much more fulfilling to be able to get through those difficult places, because that's where you realize your strength and you realize how precious life is. And so I think in any moment of total darkness and wanting to annihilate yourself, like in the same moment you can realize how sacred life is, you know? And it's really about knowing where the switch is in yourself. And sometimes you don't know where that switch is, but somebody else could help you to develop that switch, where you're able to realize that maybe running across the bridge would be okay, or maybe going to the beach would be, you know, transformational enough, or writing a letter, or burning something, or doing a ritual, you know, that you don't have to take your life to create transformation. There's so many different options, you know.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.